Listen, I'm en route right now to go and have a really good conversation. You know me. Put two on me. Entertainment. When it comes to anything sports related, I want to talk to you. I don't care what into it all, but I wanted to have a conversation here because I know this is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
So just tell me a little bit about this part and the workers, the whole experience.
All right. So we started manufacturing here about 15 years ago.
Mhm.
And then I finally partnered with my manufacturer in 2019. And the stitchers that we have been with us from the beginning. They refugees from Burma. Some of them had sewing skills, and then the ones that did trained the ones that didn't. And now they're here in this facility and they're cross trained in just about everything. But they are the heart and soul of
Mhm.
Oro Sports. Their
Mhm.
DNA is in every garment.
Mhm. And now, basically, now are these regular, just like sewing machines, like regular sewing machines, or state of the art? Because I know the vest,
Yeah.
and we'll get into the vest part. We're just having a little conversation right now.
Oh
Just
yeah.
just listen. So the machines are these like special sewing machines,
Yeah,
or
they're industrial sewing machines. Juki is a real top brand for anybody who's sewing commercially.
okay? So shout out to Juki. We're giving you a little plug
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Made in the USA and shipped from the USA, but every fabric that we selected is USA made. These are all USA mills. So we spend a little bit more money because we're getting really high quality. Everything here is about the highest quality you can get. And these are all performance fabrics. They aren't just textiles like a lot of cooling vest companies will just make a delivery system. They'll buy some type of cheap fabric so they can put the cool packs inside, and they think that's the magic. The magic is finding textiles that help keep the cooling technology colder for longer without giving the user freezer burn. And so we think about it all, we call it our cool convergence system, where it's the technology, it's the textiles, and it's the design. They all work together. Yeah,
Now we started talking a little bit about technology. Can you talk about that a little bit?
sure. And when we talk about technology, it's keeping in mind that it's so limited. I mean, right now, when you think about Nike has a pre-cool vest, and Nike's pre-cool vest has bladders of ice that go down the front and the back. So
Hmm.
when we and they refer to it as their technology. So when I say technology, ours is more sophisticated than what they have, believe it or
Hmm.
not.
Hmm.
But it's still antiquated in terms of nobody's come up with anything yet that surpasses a cooling insert that has to be put into a garment, a delivery system. But what we did was before we designed one garment, I got everything under the sun. I Googled every kind of cooling technology you could think of, got a grant, went to University of Buffalo,
Okay.
did third-party scientific testing, used our textiles to see which ones help keep the cool packs colder longer, and at the results of that trial ended up being this is the technology we're going to use. Then we started to create the delivery systems, the garments.
Hmm.
We built them around the technology that we found that
So
worked the
was it
best.
so did you have a lot of failures? Like, like
Oh,
testing and
years,
failing.
years of it.
Talk a little bit about that experience. Like,
Yeah.
wanting to perhaps give up, wanting to perhaps, saying to yourself sometimes, I don't know if it's going to work. Take
Oh
us
yeah.
down that road.
That road is a long road.
Right.
Yeah, that's a long and rich
You better
road.
have some gas.
You better have gas and you better love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't love what you're doing, it could be arduous and painful. It was painful a lot of times going through the trial and error. I'm a very idealistic person.
Hmm.
And so because I had the best designer in the world, right here in my backyard, my brother, designing for DKNY, I knew that coming up with the designs would be the
Hmm.
least of it. But getting that technology and getting it so that it fit into a garment that didn't look like a big flak jacket, and getting it so that the user didn't get freezer burn, and maybe this textile is keeping the cooling from penetrating. Okay, back to the drawing board, back to calling everybody from different mills. Can you
Hmm.
send us this? Can you send us that?
Right.
And
But right now, I want to talk a little bit about competitors. Obviously, there's other vests out there.
Mhm.
Why keep going? How do you know what you have is different from the rest? What makes you different?
Well, it's because of how we started. Because we started really in a medical space.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, that was a DKNY designer, he had multiple sclerosis. We made a vest that would address that market,
Mm-hmm.
and then that changed. A few years later, that changed real quick. But we know that we have the best product because we were using the others. So my brother wore several of these cooling vests
Mm-hmm.
to try to keep his core body down. One day I said to him, "You know what, Van, you're a designer. Design something better for yourself. This is ridiculous." People would stop him. Is it an fishing vest? Is it a flak jacket? Is it bulletproof? So we're yeah, we got that all the time. So yeah, right, right. Especially in the subways in New York, down
Mm-hmm.
in the subway system, have people would be like, "Oh, whoa, look out! Here
Mm-hmm.
comes Mister Bad," but but it wasn't. It was just a nice vest. So we knew what wasn't working, and he did get freezer burn, and that was really the first goal. Let's make Van a vest that doesn't look like an industrial garment,
Mm-hmm.
and that is going to look better, perform better, and not give you freezer burn. And so I have a bin over here in the corner that has every competitor vest made up to a certain point, and we tested them all. And we did do that testing with UB as well. We tested not only the technology but other cooling vests, and to see how were they failing,
Mm-hmm.
what could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
So I can point out a few things right away. Number one, if you put ice packs into a garment, say you got a shirt and you just put pockets in it and add
Okay.
ice packs,
Mm-hmm.
all that weight's hanging from your shoulders.
Okay.
And almost every competitor vest is that way. You're bearing the weight of all that gel packs, ice packs, whatever they're using. What we use is lighter, colder, and stays colder longer than any ice, gel, beads, anything you can find.
Okay.
So that I can tell you right away, there's nothing that compares in terms of the technology. We don't make it, so I can brag about it. But I can tell you that in terms of design, why would an athlete want our vest or anybody want our vest over another one?
Exactly.
Um, it's the aesthetic. It's the design features that make it not hang from the shoulders, but the weight's distributed throughout the body. It's the fact that when you bend, sit, run, move, it doesn't budge. It moves with you, where the other vests will just kind of shift all over.
Okay. Sticking with us. Appreciate you. Luann, Oro Sports. And I totally I'm not even gonna try to I don't want to mess your last name up.
Just don't pretend I don't have one. I'm like Cher, Luann.
Luann D.
Luann D. There you go. Luann D. Bernardo.
Bernardo. I don't know if it's the Long Island in me. I don't know.
It's a hard one, though. It is, even for me to say Di Bernardo. To go from the D to the Bernardo.
Now I'm gonna ask you another question. And this is gonna I know chat, you're gonna kill me. Italian, right?
Italian.
Italian,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Uh-huh.
Italian. Coach Gallo's Italian also. Coach Gallo, he's Italian.
Right.
Is Gallo an Italian name?
Oh, yeah, it's Italian.
Yeah.
Good
All right.
eating.
Good eating. All right, we're here. So we broke out some gifts. Are these mine or yours?
Those are yours.
All right. I'm still trying to be cool, you know.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the vest, obviously. This is, I am an athlete in my own right. I'd like to play basketball every Saturday morning.
Oh.
I still run around with the guys. And I know that this vest would be something that even just a regular guy, you don't have to. I mean, do you have to be an athlete per se, you think?
No. Not at all. Well, like I said, we started out for health reasons, just to not overheat. We just to not overheat. And there's a lot of people, like I get customers that are just taking trips to Disney and they're afraid of the heat there, and they'll get the vest. We get equestrians. We're out in the sun all day, especially the trainers. Like you look at the golf pros, they're out in the heat just training people all day. They're not playing, but they're out in the heat. So we have a lot of customers that are nothing but trainers or the pros that are doing the educating, the academies, things like that.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking too. It could be like a regular, but obviously, every college across America needs to have an Oro Sport vest. I mean,
Yeah.
do colleges have these already? Are you finding that? I mean, do you get a lot of colleges saying, "Hey, we already have a vest or we have a
No, they don't
system"?
know about it. That's the tough part about this is the educational piece.
Hmm.
There's so many trainers. A lot of strength and conditioning coaches are now starting to get savvy to it. And because a lot of the deaths in sports actually is at the high school level, so almost 7 to 10 deaths of high school athletes every year
Okay.
because the coaches don't recognize that the student's overheating. And I don't have to tell you what's the mindset of the athlete. Push, 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 push,
Yeah, no
push.
matter what, that's the hardest part for as a coach is like when you have an athlete that is
Yeah,
feeling like, "Hey, are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm good, coach."
absolutely.
You
They're going to
know,
lie every
you
time.
know,
And that's when those, and they, everybody thinks it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. Well, there were 7 deaths last year that those kids thought it's not going to happen to them. And
right.
what happens is the brain starts overheating,
Hmm.
the organs start to fry,
Right.
and the kids are pushing through it. And once those organs overheat and they start not functioning, they rush them to the emergency room, and sometimes they're able to save them, but they have lifelong damage with the organ failure, or else it will just kill them.
And that's reality, chat.
Yep.
We have to understand that we don't throw out the deaths of athletes, high school athletes, to gain more traction,
No.
but this is something that is a real issue. And high school coaches, you want to make sure that your athlete is well taken care of. And once again, Oro Sports, from the sewing room, taking care of cultures and families and little babies growing up and coming and learning, how we talked about earlier. Um, you know, Oro Sports, we want to make sure that you're in position as a high school to make sure that your athlete is not overheating. That when they come off the floor and they come to the bench, hey,
Yeah.
want to be able to get cool.
Right. And who wants to be the coach telling the mother in the parking lot waiting for her kid, hey, you better get out here? And I feel like Debbie Downer when I talk about this because
Hmm.
we didn't really make it for people to prevent heat stroke deaths,
Hmm.
but unfortunately, it's part of the system, and people don't hear about it until it happens in their community. And now, legislature is getting so tough that now they're holding the coaches liable. So there was a young girl, and I believe it, I want to say in Idaho, and don't
Hmm.
quote me,
Hmm.
high school, and they're going through drills up and down the bleacher steps. And it was hot out. And there's a certain point where it's just like inhumane to have these kids pushing out in the heat.
Hmm.
Well, the coach wouldn't let the girl stop, and she eventually died. And they sued the coach because they said, at this point in your career, you need to understand the health of your athlete, what the death knell is, when can they stop, how much further can they push, and if an athlete is saying, "Hey, coach, I'm hurting," stop. What's the risk? Stop.
Stop.
So as much as we don't make the vest to prevent heat strokes, because somebody would say, "Oh well, there's only 300 a year in the United States." Well, that's 300, and that could be you. But if you look at the other side of it, if you're a coach, again, we're back to sports, is that you are going to improve endurance. You are
Hmm.
going to improve performance. A lot of people think that it's the muscles that are getting tired when you're playing out in the heat. Overheating occurs in the brain. And as soon as the brain overheats, it's no longer able to send signals to your muscles.
Right.
Let's move. So your muscles stop moving, and people think it's just muscle fatigue. No, it's
Yeah.
your brain's overheated.
That and I'll say this, and then we'll cut and come back. But the piece you sent me with
Mm,
the YouTube, we talked a lot about when the body starts to overheat,
yeah.
like you really stop thinking.
Yes.
So we'll get into that part. I got a couple of questions that people want you to answer, so I have to throw those at you. But
And again, we're design centric, and so I have 3 other things red in the wings waiting to roll. But takes money.
mhm.
Takes money. We never found that right investor, so hopefully, maybe that right investor is listening right now. Be-
Listen, let's stop. Let's listen. If you are an investor and you are serious about business and you want to invest in a business that is serious
Mm,
handling their business, Oral Sports. we have, and we'll get into it right now, but contact. If you know somebody, social media is powerful. If you know somebody who's just rolling in the dough, who's looking to get involved in something, Oro Sports.
Who wants to become the category king? Because I always say Oro Sports is to thermal regulation what Gatorade became to hydration. So in 1962, when Gatorade's just rolling out their little drink beverage on the sidelines, I don't think they ever dreamed they'd become what they became. But the thing is, hydration came first with Gatorade. So now we all know the word. And as much as there's other drink companies out there, what do we think of when we think hydration? We think Gatorade.
You think Gatorade.
Oro Sports is to thermoregulation, which is regulating body temperature. What Gatorade is to hydration. And I'm glad you asked this question because hydration is important. But if you're sweating it out, and yeah, sweating's great because it's the body's own way of cooling you down. But your body's going to go through that fluid real quick. And if you're cooling, the body doesn't need to sweat. So if you're hydrating and you're cooling, you're not losing your body's fluids. They work together. There's a coin, the Roman coin Janus, showed one face facing the future, and the other side of the coin showed the face facing the past. And I always say that our coin is hydration, thermoregulation. So we really work hand in hand with those hydration companies.
Wow.
And there's an opportunity to become that category king. And the only thing stopping Oro Sports from being that category king is money.
Wow.
It's money.
Listen, you want to be a category king.
Yeah.
Man. So listen, okay.
And here's why. Here's some of the reasons why. All right, so we got the main cooling vest. Then runners said to us, hey, do you have something that we can run in? And we came up with the half vest. It's called the vestino, which means little vest in Italian.
Right. Go ahead. I'm just playing around right now.
Yeah, you just go in and play. I'm doing all the work.
Yeah.
This guy's playing.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Now, there's no coolant in here.
No, there isn't.
Obviously, but
it looks cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah, we knew what we were doing when we did the black and white.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, looking sharp. Everybody's crazy about a sharp dress. So we can edit that out.
Yes, we will.
All right, so then I find out that the glabrous skin, Glabrous, the glabrous skin on the body has the fastest transfer of temperature. If you want to get warm, if you want to get cold, go to those areas. And those areas are the bottom of the feet, the face, and the palm of the hands. In those areas, they contain no hair, but except for a certain few people we've met along the way.
Hey, listen.
Sorry, buddy. He's got glabrous skin everywhere.
I know how she feels.
So what we did was we developed palm coolers. And tell you what, in the last year or two, palm cooling has become huge. Not everybody knows about it, but if you can cool the palm of the hands, you can get a faster cooling to the body than any other area on your body. And you think, wow, it's so small. But there is a dense network of veins and arteries in the palm of your hands that act as the body's radiator. So you've got
okay, Olympics. I think this is a big thing. I talked to you a little earlier, and we talked a little bit about some of the things that you have going on, and you talked a little bit about the Olympics. How did that even happen with Oro Sports? How did you get your product on the back of Olympians?
The first call came with the Tokyo Olympics. So the U.S. sailing team gave us a shout. They were looking for a better cooling vest. They had the Nike one, but they needed to be more mobile. So I met with them in Biscayne Bay. They tested the vest. They loved it. And they ended up taking 35 vests to Tokyo. All the athletes were worried about the heat in Tokyo. It was a big, big, big concern. And then once they did, then we got contacted by another sailing team. And sailing really isn't our market, but that's how terrified all these athletes were of the heat. So then we got a marathoner, got contacted by a marathoner who, by the way, she pre-cooled with the vest, and then she wore the cooling headband throughout the marathon. So I'm not an athlete, But I know athletes, and
Mm-hmm.
athletes don't change their protocols for a major competition, especially the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, this woman was willing to wear a cooling headband she had never worn before. She got it 2 weeks before the Olympics, and she wore it throughout. Her trainer said she depended on it. So they were able to switch out the cool packs after, an hour. I think they switched out the cool packs. But she placed 14, so it's nothing to sneeze at. So then when the Paris Olympics rolled around, we got contacted again. The sailing team said, "Oh, you saved us. We want, we're going to take your gear again."
Mm-hmm.
And then that turned into us being contacted by the head coach for the triathlon team, and they're currently training with the vest. So they're athletes, they're triathletes at the Olympic training camp in Oregon are warming up with our vests on.
Mm-hmm.
So they're warming up the muscles, they're keeping the blood cool. So that's really important because a lot of coaches, a lot of basketball players will say to me, "No, no, no, I don't want to put the vest on. My muscles are warmed up. They're where they need to be." And it's like, well, I'll tell you what, we're not cooling your muscles, we're cooling your blood.
Right.
You keep warming up, but wear this while you're warming up.
For sure. I mean, I
Yeah.
could, and that's a great Olympic story. I mean, so me coming here, and these are the questions that the people want to know. So I'm going to throw them at you, and
All right.
we'll see how it goes. Let's see. How does cooling blood flow impact overall? That word I cannot pronounce. I'm not going to. Number 6. You might want to help me out this one. How does the cooling blood flow impact overall? What is it?
Thermoregulation.
That there you go. Compared to hydration strategies.
Okay, it's not an either or. So if you were watching a few minutes earlier, I talked about how hydration and thermoregulation go hand in hand.
Thermoregulations. I got to say it now to redeem
Yeah.
myself, like the redeem team. Go ahead.
Yeah, the routine
Right. Go
team.
ahead.
So hydration is crucial. We all know that. Gatorade taught us that 50 years ago, 60 years ago. Um, in order to maintain that hydration, you need to cool your body so that you aren't sweating. I'm not saying sweating's bad. Sweating is good. It's your body's natural way of cooling you down
Mm-hmm.
because then your sweat evaporates. However, you really don't want to sweat
Mm-hmm.
anymore because it's going to eventually you're going to deplete that your body fluids,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have a problem. Thermoregulation is just a fancy word for regulating body temperature. And if you don't regulate your body temperature, then you're going to need to sweat. And when the sweat dissipates, now you're getting into heat stroke territory. So,
Wow.
yeah. So, hydration and thermoregulation, you can't separate them, they go together.
Go together hand in
Yep.
hand. All
Yep.
right. Let's jump out. Now I'm looking for questions that I know I can read. I'm not going to read another question that I can't read. This is crazy. Okay, let's go here. What inspired the development of Oro Sports cooling technology, and how does it differ from traditional cooling methods like ice baths and cooling towels? Shout out to Miss Burns for my fourth grade English class. Appreciate you.
That is an excellent question, and I'm glad you asked it because there are cooling towels. Mission makes these cooling towels. You get them wet, you snap them, you put them on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, you can't play in it because the towel doesn't stay around your neck, but that's the least of it. Any evaporative cooling method, which is what the towels are, is going to feel good. It's not going to change the temperature of your blood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a feel good cool. It's not a impactful cool.
Mm-hmm.
The gold standard is the ice tub. You're not going to get any better than the ice tub. I went to the Falmouth Road race, which is the hottest race in the country, where there's more heat strokes there, like 40 on an average heat strokes during that one race
Mm-hmm.
in August, because it's on the water. It's 7 miles. The athletes push it because these are really top tier runners, and they're
Mm-hmm.
thinking, oh, it's only 7 miles. I was there for that to see the runners come off that course
Mm-hmm.
where they were dragging them in and throwing them into ice tubs, and they were screaming in pain. But it is the gold standard, and then they kept them in the ice tub until the paramedics could come and take them to the hospital, or else the ice tub cooled them right down. However, there's not an ice tub on your kid's football field.
Right. It's
There's
not.
not an ice tub at your kid's soccer camp.
Right.
And that's only one person per ice tub. So as much as it's the gold standard, it isn't a practical standard.
So that's what kind of separates. So
Yeah,
that's, I mean, that's a great answer. I mean, obviously, like you said, the ice bath would be the ideal situation because it
absolutely.
kind of it hits everything.
Everything.
You're in there. I couldn't even imagine getting into an ice bath. I mean, as bad as I want to, Javon McCray talks about getting into the ice bath all the time.
Oh,
I'm like, how do you do it? I don't know.
that's
I don't
tough.
know. I don't know. Let's go here. Are there specific sports or professions where your product have shown the greatest impact, and why?
Well, I haven't had the luxury like I do here with the Buffalo Extreme basketball team,
Hmm.
where actually there and I get to see the products in action, which is amazing for me. It's just amazing to watch them come off the court. They put the vest on and then they go back out. Um, so I can say that I can see the impact. The only way to tell if your body is actually responding to that cooling is with a rectal thermometer, which is what they use at the Falmouth. Yep, ouch. We don't have any here on location, Jonathan.
Thank
So,
God.
but that is the only way to know if something's working, and we don't usually employ that. So, but if your body gets over 104 degrees, you're in big trouble.
Right, that's like having a fever
Yeah,
and all that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
that's crazy. But to see, I can tell you the low hanging sports for us are soccer, track and field,
Hmm.
basketball, lacrosse, any sport where you can sidelines cool. The more cooling you can get, the better is going to get the biggest effect. But those are the only ones I really have a lot that I talk to the coaches, I talk to the
A
athletes.
lot, right?
Yeah.
I can see perhaps football, perhaps inside and helmet.
Football's a tough one.
Yeah.
I work closely with Doug Kaza, who is one of the world's leading experts in exertional heat stroke.
Okay.
And he said, if you can solve the football problem, you have solved a big problem. The problem with football,
Hmm.
because I met with the Buffalo Bills this year at training camp, they're wearing all that equipment.
Hmm.
When are you going to put the vest on? You got to take it off. It isn't practical. So I'm in development with something
I had to
that,
put the headband on. I'm telling you, I feel like I feel good right now. I feel good. Um, I- I've done a lot of interviews, with people who you may not know, and that's what I've always been a part of. People doing interviews and introducing people that people may say, I don't know who that is. You know, I'm the one that normally breaks out of someone who you never knew about, and then all of a sudden you know them, and it's like, man, this is awesome. So I'm thankful for you for allowing me to come inside your facility here, talk about Oro Sports, talk about the palm, the wrist, the headband here, some questions. Throw out, if somebody wants to contact you, just throw out all the social media, phone numbers, anything you want to do right now.
all right. Our Instagram is Oro Sports, and I will spell Oro because people think it's oral. It's ORO. ORO means gold. So it's the gold standard, cream of the crop. Oro Sports USA with an underscore between Oro Sports and USA is our Instagram handle. Facebook is the same, the Oro brand. And our website is orosportsusa.com. orosportsusa.com.
All right, excellent. Telephone numbers? No, not
Telephone
really.
number 716-281-0080. 716-281-0080. I will answer that call because all the office calls are forwarded to me 7 days a week. I have no business hours. If I'm awake, I'm working, and I'll take your call.
I love it. Well, there you have it, chat. Listen, I hope you guys and ladies and children enjoyed just learning about oral sports. I almost said oral sports, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm just like I said, I'm excited. Any questions, obviously, I'm gonna, put all the information here in from the Instagram to the do you have a TikTok also? TikTok? No?
Oh, I do have a TikTok. Yeah, I'm not as active on TikTok. I know I need to ramp that up.
What is it? I want to know what that is so I can.
I think it's Oro Sports USA also. Isn't that funny? I don't even know.
All right, we'll figure it out. I'll make sure. Yeah, I want to do that for you.
Yeah, I'm not 21. I'm not,
No,
No.
what?
Oh, shut up.
Come on. No, but listen. Yeah. So listen, we're gonna go. We're gonna continue what we're gonna do. But as for you, thank you for sitting. Joint. Share this.